Everybody knows Bose. They made speakers that audiophiles love to hate, but people love to buy. Noise-canceling headphones. A clock radio that literally every other person in America owned. Headsets for pilots. They're into car audio, and they just bought probably the most famous American hi-fi brand of all time, McIntosh. And that acquisition, very important. But you're gonna have to watch to the end of the video to find out why. It all started in 1929 in Philadelphia. Omar Bose was born to Noni Gopal Bose, who had fled India because he was a freedom fighter. His mom was American and life wasn't easy, because his father fled India, so they didn't have a ton of money. And well, the Great Depression. By the time Omar was a teenager, he taught himself how to fix radios, and he launched a little repair business in their home. First customers were neighbors and people that they knew in the neighborhood, but soon U.S. servicemen were seeking him out to fix their radios. And that drive to fix and repair things and that innate curiosity led to something real big. Omar went to MIT to study electrical engineering. And guess what? He graduated. But he didn't leave. He stayed in grad school and eventually got his PhD. And his doctoral thesis was in non-linear theory. I have no idea what that means. But apparently it's advanced math that later shaped the way he thought about acoustics. And at just 32 years old, he joined the MIT faculty and ended up teaching there for 40 years. His students loved him. He was really good, apparently, at taking concepts that were very complex and then explaining them to a layman or making them easily understandable, although the kids at MIT are kind of smart. And he took a bit of a different approach. While a lot of engineers were pursuing patents, he wanted to pursue thought experiments, curiosity-driven research. He was never trying to start an audio company. He was trying to solve a problem. What's the problem? Well, we have that in common because it showed up the day he bought his first fancy hi-fi system. He was expecting magic, the angels to sing. Just like me when I bought a pair of Kef LS50s and a Moon by Sim Audio. That got me mad. So I started a YouTube channel. Omar went a step further. He started an audio company. That huge disappointment in a system that was supposed to sound really good led to him starting Bose in 1964. And a few years later, they released the 901, a passive speaker, radically different from anything else that was being released at the time. And it was a representation of Amar's ideas about sound in general. Instead of chasing a flat response that most speaker manufacturers were chasing, he reflected stuff off of walls. Only 11% of the sound was direct. The rest was reflected. And the ultimate goal was to mimic a live performance. And audiophiles lined up to make sure that everybody knew how bad the Bose speakers were. Imagine that, doing something different and the audiophile establishment yells. However, it provided something much different from what they were used to, and the experience with the Bose 901s went well beyond just listening. Therefore, their first product laid the groundwork for pretty much how everybody feels about Bose. You either love them or you hate them. And while the 901 made them famous, what came next would make them truly unstoppable. After the 901 made waves, no pun intended, because we're going to talk about the wave radio later, in the 80s they came out with the AcoustaMass product line. The little tiny cube speakers. I had that system. Bought it at a Navy PX in Pensacola, Florida. I bragged about it to some people later and they turned their nose up at me and it hurt my feelings. Maybe that trauma led to me starting the channel too. There were a bunch of little tiny speakers and then a bass module. And in the 80s and 90s, they took over people's living rooms. They were everywhere, being sold at Circuit City, at Best Buy. There was demonstrations where you could sit and hear the wonderment of the Bose Acoustimass system. And everybody loved them because they sounded big, but they were very small. Critics rolled their eyes and called them toy speakers, but it didn't matter because they sold like crazy. And just when people thought it couldn't get any smaller, well, Bose said, "Hold my calculator." After conquering the living room, Bose wanted to conquer your bedroom and your desk, and they came out with the Wave radio. And later, it morphed into the Wave music system. Tiny box, massive sound. And they marketed it like crazy. Magazine ads, even infomercials. And the Wave radio, well, I don't think I need to tell you how it did. For many people, it was the first Bose product that they ever purchased. Very expensive for a clock radio. But it set the tone for people assigning value to Bose. And that product ran for decades. But while Bose ruled nightstands and desktops, they were working on a technology that would go somewhere else. Amar didn't like airplane noise. So in 1989, they launched the Bose Aviation headset. And it pioneered active noise canceling. But they didn't stop there because in 2000 they launched their first quiet comfort headphone. And by 2016 the QC35 became a must-have product for travelers everywhere. And active noise canceling technology quickly became basically the thing that Bose was known for. And you can still buy them today. Living room, check. Bedroom, check. Desktop, check. Airplanes, check. How about cars? In 1983, Bose signed their first deal with a car company. It was with GM and it was the Cadillac Seville. Soon, Bose showed up in Mazda and Porsche. And why did that matter? Because car manufacturers were now marketing a premium audio system to sell cars. And because of that stupid expensive clock radio, Bose was a household name. Bose was also equated with quality. So when somebody was car shopping and they heard Bose stereo, it's got to be good. Millions of cars shipped with Bose systems. Obviously, they're still being installed today. My last fun car had a Bose system in it. Living room, check. Bedroom, check. Desktop, check. Planes, check. Cars, check. iPod, check. The Sound Dock was released, followed by Bluetooth speakers like the Sound Link and the Revolve, and eventually smart home speakers, think Sonos. Bose was now relevant to everybody that had an iPod, which is now younger people. And some of the response was a little bit mixed. Audiophiles obviously still hated Bose, and other people actually liked Sonos better. This was the first time that Bose didn't enter into a market and just crush it and use technology that they developed to make that better. Most of Bose products were home runs, but some of them struck out. Professional sound reinforcement, Bose Pro. Well, you probably haven't heard of it because I didn't, and well, it shut down. Consumer health wearables. Little things you stuck in your ear to go to sleep with. I didn't know about those Bose, and they don't make them anymore. And if you walked around malls, you used to see the Bose stores. Well, they all shut down. Sonos kind of pushed them out of the living room for the majority of people. And everybody knows what happened to malls. So Bose just doubled down on what they were good at. Headphones, automotive, aviation, and portable speakers. But they did something that they've never done before in Bose's entire history. But it looks like they want to get back into traditional hi-fi because this year they bought McIntosh and Sonos Faber and some other brands. How much did they pay? We don't know because they have a weird business structure. Here's one of the strangest parts of the Bose story. Unlike most other audio companies, they're not owned by shareholders. In 2011, Amar Bose made a shocking move. He donated the majority of his company's stock to MIT. So actually, MIT owns most of Bose. But here's the twist. MIT can't sell the shares. Instead, they just collect the dividends to fund education and research. Bose not only stays 100% private, but they're kind of like a for-profit nonprofit. So for the first time in their history, instead of doing research and creating a product that was solving a problem, or at least a perceived problem, Bose bought an established group of hi-fi brands: McIntosh, Sonos, Faber, Samico. There are some theories that the Bose automotive brand doesn't have the cachet that it once had, and they're trying to maybe lean into the McIntosh name. And there's a lot of people that are a little bit nervous because McIntosh is a storied, loved brand. Personally, I hope that they maintain and respect McIntosh's legacy, but who knows what the future holds. What do you think they're going to do with McIntosh? So let's wrap this whole thing up in a nice little bow. Bose started out with a kid who repaired radios and loved doing it. Obviously very smart, went to MIT, was a well-respected and well-loved professor for over 40 years, and created products because he wanted to. He didn't care about what the audiophiles thought. And in one way, you could say initially they weren't chasing money. They were chasing solutions. The 901, the Acoustimass, wave radio, noise-canceling headsets, pilot headsets, car audio, retail stores and malls. Bose was everywhere. They weren't chasing the audiophile. They were chasing normal people who wanted something to sound good. More importantly, they wanted people to say, wow. But their secret weapon just wasn't tech. It was also about the way the business was structured. They've always been private, and now they're really private and a non-profit. So they never had to answer to any type of public shareholder pressure. Although, with the McIntosh acquisition, it kind of feels like they're acting like any old big company. So it's not really the Bose of old. Are they going to innovate anymore? Are they going to create new products that wow people? Or are they just going to buy brands that wow people? So what's the future of Bose? Well, no one knows. Sorry, that one was too easy. But seriously, in the comments, tell me what you think about Bose. What are they going to do with McIntosh? Is it the end of their innovation? I want to read about it. Put it down there. I hope you enjoyed that. I did. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. You can also check out the link in the description. I have a whole bunch of cool stickers, new coffee mug. You can sign up for the Cam Coffee Club. And if you enjoyed this video, you'll probably enjoy the video I just did about Monster Cable. I will link that right up here. Over here, you can watch something about CDs or cassettes. Thanks for watching.